Thanks again for checking out the Coding Fanatic YouTube channel. Head on over to codingfanatic.com and join our mailing list for weekly updates on Android tutorials, career advice, and more. So once again, head on over to codingfanatic.com and thanks for your support. Welcome back. You know, this last few weeks I've had a very solid workflow regarding adding features to the travel app. But I hit yet another wall. And it's times like this that really put developers to the test to see who's really got it, to hang in there and fight it out until everything is working. But you can't just fix it willy-nilly. It takes time. So let's take a look at the app and see exactly what I'm talking about. So I added a few new things to the application. I have a few new variables. I've got a string, home string, an integer called adapter size, and a home object called dummy home. Now the purpose of these is that I've added a for loop within the onEditor action listener, which controls what happens when you click enter inside the keyboard once we search for a zip code in our list. So I added some logic. I added a for loop which for each item in the original adapter array adapter, we invoke the toString method and return the value to the home string variable. We then take the home string variable and use it to instantiate a new home object and in dummy home, and this way I can access the methods within the home class. Now you might be asking, well, why don't you just use any logic you need to use? You have the array adapter, original adapter, so why can't you just use the methods on those? Well, I tried that, and the problem is that the array adapters, though they do store objects of a distinct type, they store them as objects. So this adapter stores each home object, which you see displayed in the list here. However, when I go to invoke any methods or do anything to interact with those objects, they are strictly regular Java objects. So rather than get into the minutia, or rather than get into the workflow of figuring out how to turn them back into home objects and then access the different members of the home class, I figured it would be easier to extract the full address or the string that represents each one and then use that to instantiate a new home object. And then for each iteration, I can do some type of work. However, I ran into a bit of an issue where when I type in a zip code, so we'll say 02134, we hit enter and the app crashes. So in order to figure out what's going on here, we're going to work together using the debugger and figure out exactly what is causing this application to crash. So once we start the debugger, we're going to open up the debug menu here by clicking on debug, and yep, console is selected. Scroll to the bottom and we're going to do the exact same workflow again. So I'm going to click inside the edit text, hit Massachusetts 02134 and click on enter, and when I do that, it tells me travel app keeps stopping. And if we scroll down in the console, we'll see we're given fatal exception, java.lang.IndexOutofBoundsException. Okay. So this means that the application is trying to use an index that lies outside of an index that's outside the size of an array. So the only array adapter or array we're using here, or array adapter, is the original underscore adapter. So I suspect that since the adapter size is perfectly fine, I mean it's an integer that I set using the size of the original adapter, I know that that value cannot change. However, something might have changed with the original adapter, and that's why we're running into issues. So let's come right here to create a new line, and we're going to instantiate a new variable, an integer, and we're going to call it r. We're going to set it equal to the original adapter dot get count, which will be the exact same way I initialized the or the adapter size variable up here. So here int adapter size, and we set it equal to the size of, or the original adapter. We're just going to do the exact same thing here and run the debugger one more time. Well, actually, let me cancel here. Before we do that, set a breakpoint so that the execution of the program stops and we're able to verify the value of this variable. So we're going to just hit the debugger one more time here, and I'll say terminate, and we will cut to when everything is ready. Okay, so we have the debugger running. We're going to open the debug menu, and this time we're going to switch to the debugger instead of the console. And here we can see the variables. Once we hit the breakpoint, we can see the value of each variable. So we're going to hit search list, just like before. Click inside the edit text and hit Massachusetts 02134. Enter. Okay. So I don't see the integer r here in our list of variables. We're just going to hit step over once. Okay, there it is. And as you can see here, and also up here inside of the code, the variable r has the value of 0. However, adapter size is still set equal to 3, and also in adapter sizes, when it's declared, the declaration of this variable, it's also set to 3. So that means that there's something happening that's causing the original adapter to be set, the size to be set to 0. And I'm not entirely sure what it could be yet, but I'm going to take another look at the code and figure out where to go from here. But one thing is for certain. We know that there's a change being made to the original adapter, and that is what's causing its size to be set to 0. And because I'm trying to instantiate the home string, or I'm trying to set the value of home string equal to original underscore adapter dot get item sub I. If the size of the array is 0, then it has no I can't use any index. So even 0 is too great, because 0 would be the first position within the list, and since the list is empty, that is how I'm getting this array out of bounds exception. So I have to figure out what is causing the original adapter to be emptied and then move from there. So I didn't come up with a fix yet, but at least I have an idea of what I need to do next, and now I can move forward with fixing this bug. So thank you all so much once again for tuning into the Coding Fanatic YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and leave me a comment underneath if you have any questions or comments on the work here. Also, don't forget to head over to the Coding Fanatic website and subscribe to the mailing list so that you can be the first to get updates when I do project updates, tutorials, career advice, and more. So once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. This is your host, Richard Clark, signing out, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.